Hi there, my name is Laurie and welcome to another edition of DR Boxing Weekly. For those of you who don't know already, the DR Boxing Show is a regular weekly show where myself and three guests chop it up and discuss all the relevant topics taking place in the world of boxing. Joining me today on the show, to my far left, Shane in the house. Woo! To my immediate left, we got Nick Francis, aka the voice of reason.
What's going on? Good to be here.
Give him a clap.
Yeah.
And to my right, we've got James Toon in the house, aka the
Canelo simp, I guess. Yeah, Canelo simp. What's going on, boys?
Clap for James as well.
Yeah, I'll clap myself. I'll clap my own.
Okay, without any further ado, let's start with a story I came across this week. I'm sure everyone out there who follows boxing, you came across the same story. Canelo versus Badou Jack, the debacle, the fallout. Right, so you may well know that it was being proposed that Canelo was going to move up in weight and fight, when I say move up in weight and fight Badou Jack. There was a lot of conversation about that swirling around in the boxing media last week, only to find out that the negotiations had stalled. And then Badou Jack tweeted, he said basically the fight's off because Canelo was trying to force Badou Jack to fight at a catch weight for the cruiserweight title. Now the cruiserweight title is what, 200 pounds?
200.
Canelo was trying to force Badou Jack to get down to 180 pounds. Yes, 180 pounds.
And still fight for the belt as well.
Still fight for the belt. And on top of that, he didn't want Badou Jack to rehydrate after the weigh-in. Now for me, that is patently ridiculous. How can you fight for a title at a catch weight and ask the person who holds the title to give away 20 pounds? Absolutely ridiculous. And I'll be interested to hear what these guys say. To me, Badou Jack exposed him, and I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he didn't take the fight. B, I'm glad he exposed those ridiculous negotiations. And to me, it adds further fuel to the fire, whereby a lot of people, myself included, are saying this guy, Canelo, despite being a great fighter, is also proving himself to be a bit of a fraud.
Facts.
So that is the first question I'm going to put to my panel this
Facts.
week. Is Canelo still pound for pound, or is he a fraud, or is he even both? Shane, let's start with you.
Can never be pound for pound still. He doesn't want to fight the best in his weight class. And for you to move up a weight class and fight for that belt, cause one thing saying
2 weight classes, isn't it? Because he's gone for his current super middleweight.
It's 2 weight classes,
yeah.
But it's one thing to say, okay, we'll fight at 200 pounds and you can't rehydrate. You're putting a cap on how much he can weigh in for his belt at the limit. The limit is 200 pounds. He should be able to weigh in at 200 pounds. But I feel like this guy's more than a fraud, because the only reason why he even wants to fight Badou Jack is because he doesn't want to fight Benavidez. He's literally looking for anyone on earth to fight other than Benavidez. Like literally, Benavidez has been the number one in that division since before he even came to that weight class. And he's doing everything in his power not to fight him. So he's more than a fraud, trust me.
At this point, I'll bring in the voice of reason. I hope he's going to chat something reasonable, though. It's Nick Francis.
It's so difficult because Canelo's been like my favourite fighter. I thought you were the voice of reason.
Well, no. Go on.
Yeah, Canelo's been my favourite fighter for like the last decade, and he is just going out extremely badly. I do think also that trying to do that to Badou Jack is stupid.
A 41-year-old Badou Jack.
But Badou Jack is somebody that's been in the sport a long time. He is very well respected in the sport. He's very disciplined. He's had some big money fights, got some money. He's not like a fledgling champion that you could kind of bully with these types of tactics.
Facts.
If you were going to pick someone who was maybe a bit of an up-and-comer, a talented boxer, but didn't quite have the money, and you could throw your weight around, Badou Jack is not that kind of person.
Nope.
He's never, ever going to go for that. So I just think that was a massive miscalculation from Canelo. And based on his last performance, I wouldn't say pound for pound. Canelo at his peak was a great finisher, and he had his opponent, he had Ryder hurt a few times, but wasn't able to really go for the finish. So I don't think we can have that pound for pound top 5 conversation, maybe top 10 conversation. We can't have that conversation anymore. And the way that he's conducting himself in the sport now, I get in boxing you work your way to a position and you enjoy the most of that position when you're at the top, but the way I'd call it an abuse of power at this point and trying to throw his weight around the sport is really sad, really sad to see. I would much rather see him go out on his shield, try and fight the best. Some of the stuff he's tried to do, going up to light heavyweight, going up to cruiserweight, I think is amazing for someone of his body dimensions. But honestly, he's 5'8", going up to light heavyweight.
No, but can I just say as well?
Sounds of a pound for pound G.
Hold on, can I just say as well that I did check this before. Canelo has insisted on more catch weight for his fights than any other fighter in boxing. So a lot of the time when he's gone up in weight and acquired these belts, it's been on the back of stuff like what he tried to pull with Badu Jack. Right, over to
not necessarily. You lot
I think we know
are
what's coming in now.
ridiculous. Some of
simping
the
of some
it's
real
not
serious
simping at all, mate. Just some of the inflammatory language used by you lot is quite disingenuous. If I'm being frankly honest, saying he's throwing his weight around, calling the man a fraud. The guy was the pound for pound king, undeniably, of his era. After Floyd Mayweather, there was nobody like him. The way he moved up the weight classes, yes, there was some dubious factors to it. There was a lot of alleged things that may or may not have been consumed. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to say. But what we do know is that the way that he went up in weight, the way that he carried his power was phenomenal. His boxing IQ, his skill, out of this world. So he earned his spot at the top. Now he's coming to what we would call maybe the tail end of his career. He's starting to die down a bit. He wants to get easier fights for more money. Badu Jack, you say he's old, you say he's experienced. It's not a move to pull on him. But by that same token, it's also a guy who's not going to have many paydays left. So maybe he was thinking, okay, but maybe he is going to get suckered into this situation.
But using that logic, why did he turn down bigger money fights then? If you're saying it's about money...
I said, no. Not just... No, you missed the key... You kissed the key factor in that equation. It's not just the most money, it is the easiest fights for the most money, because you want an accumulation of a lot of fights, and he has earned the right to get himself in that position. Is he still pound for pound king? Of course. Nobody's saying he's pound for pound king. Alexander Usyk is by a country mile the pound for pound king. The things he's doing at heavyweight is phenomenal.
Can I ask you a question, Jake? Can I ask you a question?
But he's still earned the right to do this.
Why keep the belts hostage then? If you want to fight the easiest fights, then just relinquish the straps.
Misfits.
Go Misfits.
What do you mean go Misfits? This is Canelo Alvarez.
No, but Shane is right. If you're not going to fight the best fighters or the fighters that are worthy of the championship, give up the belts.
Doesn't matter.
You can still make money elsewhere.
Your favourite fighter, McGregor, done an exhibition fight for the biggest money in his career. Why can't Canelo do the same thing?
What? But he's not going to do. He's not going to get the biggest money in his career fighting someone from Misfits. You're talking about a completely different scenario.
Tell me why he won't fight
Benavidez for the greatest boxer.
Tell me why he won't. Is it because he don't want to fight Mexicans?
Because he wants to get the easiest fights for the most money. It's simple maths. It's simple equation. I don't think it's right. I would like to see him go for the toughest fights, of course. But I'm not going to sit here and completely throw a man under the bus that has given his life, his soul, everything to the sport to create his name. Because he's at the tail end of his career and he wants to do this. A lot of boxers have done this.
No, but you're slowing up the division.
Fair enough.
James, one second. This is the thing, yeah? If that's the case, and I hear you, and I actually agree with you, he is looking for the easiest fights for the most money. If that's the case, then you could never, ever be putting the best fighters in the world. And he still considered himself as one of the best fighters. If that's the case, then you have to prove it to me. And he's not showing me anything that resembles a all-time great. Because an all-time great is willing... Because I've seen fighters like... Bernard Hopkins in their 50s still fight at world level, taking on tough opponents, and
even if they lose,
he is just marketing himself as...
but how many fighters have we seen gone past their prime, still trying to fight the best, and ended up taking loss after loss after loss? And then in hindsight, when you look at them through history, you remember people for the bad things they did, and their legacy looks so much worse.
I would like to make the point that this is not a one-off what we're seeing with Badu Jack. This is a pattern of behaviour now that's been going on for years. And he's refusing to fight David Benavidez, using the most spurious of excuses that he represents Mexico.
He ducked Bivol as well.
Fighters. He ducked Bivol, right? He don't want to. After he lost to Bivol, he said he wanted to get back. We've seen nothing of the sort. The negotiations broke down because apparently, he tried to offer Bivol the same terms that they fought nearly 2 years ago. That's not going to work.
And that's important because when we say ducked, so we've had people comment before in previous videos and stuff like that, and they'll be like, we didn't duck him, he sent him an offer. But if the offer's not realistic, that's a different form of ducking.
So he's not fighting Bivol, he's not fighting Benavidez, and now we're finding out that the two targets, we're We heard about Edgar Berlanga. We're going to talk about him a bit later. Come on, bro. You can't be serious. Then we heard about Charlo. Now, I would reason, and I'm sure Shane would say the same thing, that Charlo is an easy target. He didn't want to fight Charlo when he should have fought Charlo a couple of years ago.
He took the franchise belt, innit?
He then said, what has Charlo done? Now, Charlo hasn't fought since then. Now, all of a sudden, apparently he's reaching out to fight Charlo. Charlo's not fought in the last 2 years. It's well-documented problems with divorce and stuff like that. People are saying even worse than that, he may have a drinking problem. Even worse than that, he's got mental issues. All of a sudden...
The same excuses that you give for Teofimo Lopez.
So now he wants to fight him while he's weaker, but Floyd Mayweather did that notoriously throughout his career. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao fight should have happened 10 years before it happened.
Wait.
He waited until Pacquiao
was
at his
take the drug test.
Hang on a second.
No,
even if that's true, this video is not about cross-examining Floyd Mayweather. This video is about cross-examining Canelo. So why are you doing whataboutery talking about somebody else?
Because people do, because it's been happening throughout the history of boxing.
You made the point that he's earned the right to make a lot of money for the easiest fights. And like Shane said, he agrees with you up to a point. My argument with you is give up the belts then. Retire. Right. Go join Misfits.
No, okay.
You are holding up the belts. Hang on. You are holding up the belts and you are slowing up progress in that division. The likes of David Benavidez, David Morrell, numerous other fighters, just because you don't want to take on the best fighters.
Okay.
Totally
I hear what you're saying about the belts.
Totally unacceptable.
Saying go to Misfits is highly disrespectful for everything that he's done for the sport.
You said he wants the most money.
Highly disrespectful. You're talking about influencer and crossover boxers. You're talking about one of the greatest in the history.
Exhibitions.
Very disrespectful to Canelo.
Don't ever say that. He is not one of the greatest in history. Don't ever say that.
He is.
There are plenty of boxers that are greater boxers than him in the history of boxing that have done exhibition fights.
I didn't say that, but saying go to Misfits and fight
YouTubers
while he's still
do exhibitions.
Doesn't need to. He can fight. He can still hang in professional.
But you're holding the belts hostage, my friend.
Yeah, by doing that, you can still fight professionally.
You're slowing up the division. Announce your retirement, like what Tio's done. Announce your retirement and allow other people to fight for the belt.
Is it not? Should it not be on? Should it not be on the boards? Should it not be on the commissions and the people that own these belts to strip him? It's not his duty to do that. It's their duty to stop him from holding it hostage.
Do you know why that will never happen?
It's not his duty.
Do you know why that will never happen? Because commissions get paid by sanctioning fees. He's the most paid fighter. So as long as he's fighting for their belts, they're going to make the most money. They're never going to do that.
They're the frauds, not him. It's not on his personally to stop holding it up.
James, can I ask you a serious question?
On them.
I'm going to turn Shane now. Can I ask you a question? Do you not think, and I want you to answer this honestly now, take the simping thing out of it. We know
he won't be able to.
We jokingly call you the simp. We're not being serious. But I want you to take this particular question serious. Yeah. Do you not think that what Canelo is doing is undermining the integrity of the sport? Yes or no? Be honest. I want you to be honest now. I know you like the guy, and listen, we're all admirers of up to a point. But I'm afraid that what he's carried on with recently, and like I said, it's not just this particular thing about Jack. It's a pattern of behaviour.
He done it to Kovalev.
Yeah, but this is just the worst example.
Facts.
Now. Asking a man to 41-year-old Badu Jack to come down 20 pounds. I don't think it is,
because it's happened throughout the history of boxing, and I think the initiative should be on the people that are actually in power, which is the commissions and the people that are making all the money off Canelo.
Even though I just told you that Canelo's got the most catch weights in the history of boxing.
Laurie,
doesn't matter, mate. Your job is to look out for yourself.
You've been watching fights for 50 years. Name me another time a person's made a champion weight drain 20 pounds in their weight class.
It's unprecedented.
I've never seen that. You said it's been done in history. But when you're the big name,
when you're the A side, you can do it. You can do what you want. And look, I don't think it's right. Look, as a fan, I would like to see him get back in there with Bivol. I would like to see him try and avenge that loss, but it's not happening.
Because he's a coward.
People are gonna to label him someone as completely undermining the legacy of boxing, completely undermining the way things should work. You've got a fair point. If he's holding up belts, if he's not taking the right fight, he should be on the commission. Bivol.
No, he's not going to fight Bivol.
No, but that's who you said you should. If
not Bivol, who else?
I like the Berlanga fight. I like Benavidez.
Berlanga. Shane, what should happen next with
what he's going to do is probably Berlanga or Charlo. What I want to see him do is Benavidez or give up the belts.
Okay, I don't think you're going to see that anytime soon.
I agree. Benavidez, the reality is he's tarnishing his own legacy. He wants to go down as a legend. if he'd operated the right way, he could operate the right way and end his career with more losses and be a bigger legend than the way that he's going to end his career now.
Facts.
Because he's going to end his career with a lot of food on the table. He didn't fight Charlo in his prime. Didn't fight Andre, didn't fight. There's so many fighters that he didn't fight of his era. He will not be able to go down as a legend. There will always be an asterisk against his name, not to mention the other stuff outside of the ring.
Okay, I'll just close up by telling you what I think very briefly. I think that Canelo needs to stop holding the division to hostage. I think if you're not, even though he's been a great fighter, none of us will dispute that. His resume will tell you that. However, if he's reached that point in his career where he's not going to fight the best fighters and he's not going to take on worthy challenges, it's simple. Retire. Or, semi-retire, go into doing exhibitions or, dare I say, misfit boxing, because this type of behaviour is not in accordance with being a great champion. But anyway, that's my views. Let me know what you think. We've opened a debate. We've had our say. It's got quite heated at times. It's a very passionate, emotive type of subject.
And it's a hot studio.
So let us know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification button for more DR Sports and DR Boxing content. For those of you who like football, by the way, don't forget this weekend the Claude Cup is taking place at the New River Sports Centre in Wood Green. That's this Saturday the 24th. Doors open at 2 o'clock. Go on till 5. I think we'll all be there. We're all playing. I think Shane.
These are the ops. These are Team AFTV FC. If you want to see the big dogs, DR Sports, which I will be playing for, absolutely smash them. Make sure you tune in on
So that's
Saturday.
AFTV FC versus DR All Stars. Lots of celebrities passing through. Celebrity influencers playing on both sides. It's going to be a great day out. It's going to be nice and warm. Food and refreshments available. Lots of great football stuff for the kids to do. Make sure you check it out. We are out. See you later. Take care. See you soon.